Welcome to the Liverpool Talking newspaper for the week ending Saturday, 4th of May 2019. I'm Peter Lynskey.
I'm Hilary Lynskey.
And I'm Mary Andrews.
Pat Fearon, unfortunately, isn't with us today because she's at a hospital appointment, but we'll try and get on regardless. I'm all of a flutter today because this is the first recording we've made since our last laptop was stolen. And of course, we haven't got any music for the start of our programme because we didn't know that we had to bring our introductory music with us. Let's hope we can put it on for the next time we're here. Right. Let's start from the beginning. What have we been up to, Hilary? And unfortunately, a lot of unfortunately sad things.
Yeah, well, we did have a pleasant few days away in Inglewhite, it was called, which is in the Trough of Bowland, and that was pleasant. And we took ourselves to Kinky Boots, which was very lively, and I could really recommend anybody, if they had the opportunity to see it. But then when we came back, Peter had his shoulder surgery that he'd been waiting for, so he's still recovering from that, really. And then sadly my sister died 2 days later, and of course Peter was rather frustrated because we couldn't drive, we couldn't go and do anything, but we've managed to do it sort of long distance. And tomorrow is her funeral, and there's going to be lots and lots of people there, so it's going to be quite a big occasion, but that's really why we're doing our recording today, because we're not able to do it.
Yes,
tomorrow.
We're here on Tuesday, the
30th.
It's the 29th. 30th today.
30th, Tuesday, 30th of May at the moment when we're recording. 30th of April when we're recording, yes.
Yes, we don't know where we are really, but I think Mary may have had a better month.
Yes, I have actually. I've been busy. I've had a new boiler fitted, and it's a very nice one now. Everything's working fine. Thank God.
Fingers crossed. Yeah.
I've had my yard grassed over with artificial grass, and it looks very impressive. I'm really happy with that. The cats absolutely love it. And I had a weekend in Torquay, 4 days, with the Mastermind Club the week before Easter, which was great. I've never been to Torquay before. I thought I had, but it was lovely. And in Babacoombe, next door to it, I was told about this wonderful place called Bygones. And it goes back, it starts in the Victorian era, all kinds of things on show, and a little reproduction Victorian street with fabulous little shops and carts, and then a World War I section and a World War II section, and it was great. I met a little family, a baby and a little boy, and the little boy was about 6, and I couldn't resist when he was looking wide-eyed in the shop windows saying, I used to have that. And in the cobbler's shop there were clogs. I said, I used to wear a pair of clogs just like that when I was little. And he was mystified and totally bemused and absolutely thrilled. And he said, how do you know all that? I said, mainly because my mummy told me, and it was glorious time just to talk to him, if nothing else. Yeah. Then what else did I do? I had some work done in my kitchen. Because of the new boiler, I had to have a cupboard moved, so I had some extra shelves fitted. Been to a couple of funerals, which were actually very nice.
Well, they can be. Yeah.
They can be joyous, uplifting occasions, and this was. I had a fairly quiet Easter. I bought my usual fresh rose for St George's Day.
Oh, right.
Every year without fail. The only year I didn't have a fresh rose was when I was in France. So I took a plastic one with me because there was no way I wasn't wearing one. It was great. The biggest event, really, last Wednesday, I was installed again as president of the Liverpool Sir Optimist Club.
Oh,
that was great. And this last Sunday, I was in Southport for the first attendance. Southport is one of our daughter clubs, and that was great. And that's me so far.
That's really busy.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we'll attempt to get on with our recording for the beginning of May, and Hilary has got a what's on.
Well, Liverpool Philharmonic, Sunday the 19th of May at 2:30. There's a Russian Passion. Tchaikovsky, Cossack Dance from Mazeppa. Prokofiev, Sinfonia Constantant for cello and orchestra. And Glazunov, Raimonda excerpts. Khachaturian Spartacus Suite. Conductor Vasily Petrenko and cello Alban Gerhard. Tickets £15 to £45. Then Friday the 24th of May at 7:30, this is a special concert. It's Opera North's concert version of Aida, Giuseppe Verdi, conductor Sir Richard Armstrong. Then Thursday the 30th of May at 7:30 and Friday the 31st of May at 1:30, Grieg's Piano Concerto with Sibelius Spring Song, Grieg Piano Concerto, Puccini Preludio Sinfonica, and Respighi Roman Festivals, conductor Karen Hassan. And the tickets for this are from £15 to £45, 709 3789. Now, the Playhouse, from the 8th to the 11th of May, has Chekhov's first play by Dead Center and After Anton Chekhov. Tickets £10 to £25. Not much point mentioning it, but it's interesting that the 17th of May and the 18th of May, Ian McKellen is actually on stage at the Playhouse, but it's been sold out for about a year. Because when I rang up to book on the first day, you just couldn't. But it's interesting that he's doing this big tour. And Everyman, the 12th of April to the 18th of May, Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street, a musical thriller. Tickets £10 to £40, and they're 709 4776. And the Empire Theatre, 20th to the 25th of May, has Hair, which you remember has the sort of the nudity, which is rather rude, isn't it? Tickets from £13. And the 30th of May to the 1st of June has, yet again, The Mousetrap. Again, tickets from £13. 0844 871 7633, and there's lots more on the What's On Liverpool Echo.
Right, and let's go on to the birthdays of the month. Now, unfortunately, the birthdays for April were on our stolen recording, and nobody ever who had their birthdays in April didn't get a wish to happy birthday. So if you did have a birthday in April, we're terribly sorry. The thief knows who you are, but happy birthday in absence anyway. But Mary's got the May birthdays for us now.
Right, for the birthdays in May, as you say, I'm sorry that you've missed your greetings in April, but we'll hope that you do receive these. I'll say them all first. On the 5th, we've got Mrs. G. Dawson. On the 6th, Mrs. Michelle Lowe. On the 9th, Linda Jackson. On the 10th, Stanley Carter and Emily Campbell. On the 15th, Sarah Hughes. On the 17th, Janice Hayes. On the 20th, Tony Ahmed, and on the 28th, Mrs. E. Turner. So we all here hope that you have a very happy and memorable birthday on those dates.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Yeah.
And we go on next to what happened on May the 6th, which is Monday this year, but in various years. Right. What else? In 1954, on May the 6th, the 4-minute mile barrier was broken by Roger Bannister. A 25-year-old British medical student broke the invisible barrier today when he ran a mile in 3/5 of a second, less than 4 minutes. He was running at the Iffley Road track in Oxford, representing the university against the Amateur Athletics Association, with 2 fellow students setting the pace. Experts long held that it was impossible for a man to run a mile in less than 4 minutes. Today, Bannister took 2 seconds off the previous record set by Swede Gunnar Haag in 1945. What will be next? A 3 3/4 minute mile? Well, yes, very nearly. And in 1851, the Yale lock was patented. On May the 6th, 1758, Maximilien Robespierre, the French revolutionary who instituted the Reign of Terror, was born. In 1877, on May the 6th, the Sioux chief, Crazy Horse, surrenders and gives up all claim to Nebraska. In 1856, Sigmund Freud was born, the Austrian pioneer of psychoanalysis. In 1910, May the 6th, Edward VII of England dies and George V accedes to the throne. And here's not one to remember. In 1953, on May the 6th, Tony Blair, the former British Prime Minister, was born. In 1959, May the 6th, Icelandic gunboats fire live ammunition at British trawlers as the Cod War continues. In 1911, Rudolph Valentino, the Italian actor and who became a star of Hollywood silent movies and a heartthrob to millions of women, was born. In 1983, the Hitler Diaries are declared a fake. Who was the historian who brought them out?
Keating.
Yeah, and he was proved to be a charlatan as well. In 1915, Orson Welles, the American actor, writer and film director, was born. In 1990, P.W. Botha resigns from the ruling National Party in South Africa. And here's a day to remember. On May the 6th, 1937, the Hindenburg explodes. The German transatlantic airship, the Hindenburg, exploded while landing in New Jersey tonight, killing 35 of the 97 aboard and injuring many others. Sailors from the nearby naval base fought to rescue passengers from the burning wreck. The 304-metre, that's a 1,000-foot airship, was delayed by a thunderstorm at the end of her 3-day crossing from Frankfurt, and it is thought lightning ignited her 2 million cubic metres, that's 7 million cubic feet, of hydrogen gas as her wet mooring ropes touched the ground. This is the 5th airship to crash, and today's tragedy must spell the end of the line for them. Also in 1992, on May the 6th, Marlene Dietrich, the German actress, died. In 1626, the Bargain of Forever. The Dutch buy Manhattan for a song in May the 6th. A Dutch official named Peter Minuit today bought the 57 square metre, 122 square mile island of Manhattan from local Indians. He certainly got a good deal. The Indians refused the gold and silver. They wanted knives, beads, trinkets, and accepted an offer of them to the value of only 60 guilders, that's £13 or $24. Minuit today named the settlement New Amsterdam and is building a fort there. What a bargain. In 1994, on May the 6th, the Channel Tunnel linking Britain to the continent is officially opened by the Queen and President Mitterrand. Two more birthdays. Chapin A. Harris, 1806, an American dentist who founded the American Society of Dental Surgeons. And finally, another heartthrob, more modern than Rudolph Valentino, George Clooney was born in 1961. The American actor, director, producer and screenwriter, most famous for his roles in ER, Batman and Robin and Ocean's 11. And from the films, we jump to the theatre and Hillary's operatic mistakes.
This is Don Giovanni at the City Centre, New York, 1958. Here the audience had the extraordinary experience of seeing straight through the opera to the outside world. In one of those epic accidents which haunt the dreams of stage managers by night, all the scenery involved in the scene change before Don Giovanni's feast was simultaneously raised above the proscenium level, at a moment when the curtains were open and the vast doors at the back of the stage were open to admit the entry of the new set. For 10 heavenly seconds, therefore, the audience saw not 18th century Spain, but East 55th Street, cars passing, taxis hooting, a couple of astonished traffic cops staring at them, presumably no less amazed than they, an extreme clash between reality and illusion, utterly befitting New York. Indeed, every city perhaps gets the disasters it deserves.
Next, Mary is going to examine what the Wrinkleys might be up to.
Yes, we're going to look today at the Wrinkleys' wealth of armchair literature. Imagine the British Library, the Bodleian Library, and the Library of Congress all rolled into one. and it would be nothing like the average Wrinkly's Armchair Library. That's because the Wrinkly's Armchair Library isn't just books, schmooks. It's a wealth of written material, the variety of which is truly mind-boggling to the average non-Wrinkly. So what does it consist of? Books. Yes, there are books, of course. Lighter books for inducing sleep, and heavier books for balancing up the wonky coffee table. Newspapers. The newspaper is a versatile object. When the sun streams in and you're too tired to get up and close the curtains, it makes a handy sunshade. I agree with that. When you fancy 40 winks during the hours of daylight, it's like an aeroplane sleep mask. It's an oversized coaster for putting your tea mug on to avoid leaving rings on the coffee table. It's an effective fly swatter. It's handy for mopping up spillages. It can be used to start a real fire in your grate, if you have one. It provides hours of origami-based diversion. At Christmas, it can be turned into a party hat. It can be rolled into balls and dangled on strings for the amusement of your cat. In extremis, it can even be read. Magazines. For particularly persistent or heavily built flies, this is the nuclear option in the arsenal of the insect-irritated Wrinkly. But beware. The satisfying thwack it makes as you jubilantly whack it down could in fact be the sound of your lovely teak coffee table being rent asunder. Medicine instructions. How they fit them into those tiny boxes is anybody's guess. But as you unfold those microscopically printed leaflets out again and again, you suddenly find you have almost enough to wallpaper your entire living room. In our experience, the last page is usually the most entertaining or frightening. This will list all the things the medicine might do to you. We use the word might advisedly because to cover their backsides, the medicine manufacturers will list everything from mild vomiting. Have you ever heard of anyone vomiting mildly? No, neither have we. To spontaneous human combustion. Bumf. As you probably know, this is short for bum fodder. Though how many people do you know who actually feed their own bottoms? This consists of leaflets that drop out of your newspaper, junk mail that it's found its way to your inner sanctum, and other assorted rubbish that you might idly read because the newspaper is just out of arm's reach. Guarantees, insurance policies, etc. These are the things you never look at till something goes wrong. You then dig them out of the shoebox only to discover that A, the faulty item is out of warranty or not covered by insurance, and B, the sub-clauses and exclusions mean you haven't a leg to stand on.
So true.
Right,
It is,
yes.
yeah.
Well, we go on now to a little round of you might call medals and Professor Hawking stars on black hole 50p coin. Stephen Hawking has been commemorated on a new 50p coin inspired by his work on black holes. Professor Hawking, who died of motor neuron disease last year, aged 76, was one of the most brilliant minds in his field. Designer Edwin Ellis said Stephen Hawking made difficult subjects accessible, engaging and relatable, and this is what I wanted to portray. I wanted to fit a big black hole on the tiny coin and wish he was still here chortling at the thought. Professor Hawking's son and daughter, Tim and Lucy, visited the Royal Mint. Lucy said, "I hope my father will be pleased to be alongside Sir Isaac Newton and Charles Darwin as scientists who have made it onto money. But the black hole is a sort of a ring of concentric circles. I would have thought it would be greater to have a hole punched in the coin for people to look through."
Right, Brazil World Cup gong on sale for 50k. A Brazilian World Cup winner's medal from the 1970 final is up for auction with a gold price of £50,000. The 21-carat gold pendant was awarded to a member of Brazil's medical team when Pelé and his team beat Italy 4-1 in the famous final in Mexico. The hexagonal medal with an image of Nike, the Greek goddess of victory, will go under the hammer at Midlands Sports Auction based in West Bromwich on last Sunday. Auctioneer Matthew Blythewaite said, "It's a huge item to come up for sale, and in my 35 years of trading in football memorabilia, I've only ever seen one other, and that belonged to Pelé." In 2006, Pelé's 1958 World Cup gong sold for £200,000.
Life-saving World War I penny up for sale. A penny that saved a First World War Tommy from being shot in the heart is going up for auction. Private John Trickett kept it in his breast pocket as a reminder of home, and it took the full impact of a German bullet in 1918. He lived, but the bullet ricocheted and hit his ear, leaving him deaf for life. John, in the Northamptonshire Regiment, was aged 19 when he was shot. His granddaughter, Maureen Coulson, 63, from Duffield, Derbyshire, said, "Everyone in our family saw the penny and heard how it saved his life." His brothers, Horace and Billy, died in the war. Adrian Stevenson of Hanson Auctioneers said, "Soldiers kept objects in their breast pockets to protect themselves."
Yeah, our next item is, I know that, do you sleep well or badly? Well, I usually sleep like a top, but since I had my operation last week, my sleeping hours are curtailed every time I roll over to my sore shoulder.
But he dozes off during the day, so it's, another reason why he can't sleep at night.
But we have now 22 tips for a good night's kip.
22 tips for a good night's kip. And a whopping 35% of us suffer sleep problems and have done for more than 5 years. So could the answer be in the new book, 222 Ways to Trick Yourself to Sleep? Try these 22 foolproof ways to supercharge your snoozing.
Do the washing up. Really? Washing dishes can calm the mind and decrease stress, according to a study by Florida State University. But you have to do it mindfully, smelling the soap and feeling the water on your skin. People who wash dishes in this way reported a 27% drop in anxiety.
Number 2, rock yourself. Rocking is known to be relaxing and to promote sleepiness. If you rock on your feet, the motion can relieve stress by stimulating acupressure points on your soles.
3, listen to a bedtime story. That's more like it. Being an adult doesn't mean you can't get lulled to sleep with a tale or two. There are countless audio books available, and the popular Calm app has a choice of sleep stories specially recorded for grown-ups.
And number 4, think of 5 good things. When you hit the sack, write down or say out loud 5 things that were good about your day. Psychological studies by UK and Canadian universities have shown that just thinking about what's good in your life rather than what's bad can help you fall asleep faster and for longer.
Number 5, try to stay awake. Sounds bonkers, but it might just work. Researchers at the University of Glasgow asked one group of insomniacs to try to fall asleep as normally as they could, and another group to keep their eyes open and stay awake as long as possible. Result? The second group fell asleep faster and said they felt less anxious about drifting off.
Dangerous, this one. Number 6, hypnotise yourself. There is a huge choice of hypnotherapy apps and YouTube videos to try out there. Sleep hypnosis encourages you to concentrate on someone speaking soothing verbal cues, which can reduce anxiety and relax your mind and body. It can also induce a trance-like state and may promote more deep, slow-wave sleep.
Number 7, cover clock faces. If you start clock watching when you can't sleep, you'll worry about how much shut-eye you're missing.
And number 8, go red. If you use night lights in your bedroom, you might want to change them for the red bulbed variety. Red light has a longer wavelength than blue and less power to interfere with your sleepy state.
Number 9, game of two halves. Do you always lose the duvet tug of war and end up out in the cold? The solution could be to sleep like the Scandinavians, with 2 single duvets instead of a double.
Hilary and I should have had that last item because we could fight over that. Number 10, drop a few degrees. The body's core temperature needs to fall by about 1 degree centigrade to trigger our brains into starting the surge in melatonin production that helps us drift off. The ideal bedroom temperature is about 18 degrees centigrade.
And number 11, a clean sheet. Are you washing your bed sheets weekly? Well, you should be. Bed linen not only soaks up sweat and body oils, it also harbours dead skin cells, food for dust mites, which can cause allergies and disturb sleep. And number 12, use a weighted blanket. A Swedish study in the Journal of Sleep Medicine and Disorders found that insomniacs benefited from weighted blankets. They enjoyed calmer, better quality slumber and woke feeling more refreshed than usual. Best to check with your doctor first before you do this.
13, this is for me. Declutter. People in cluttered environments take longer to doze off and have worse sleep than minimalists, according to researchers at St. Lawrence University in New York State. Every surface in your bedroom has no more than 3, or ensure that every surface has no more than 3 or 4 items on it.
And number 14, shun too much sugar. A high sugar diet can deprive you of sweet dreams, a study in America found, because spikes and crashes in blood sugar after eating sweet foods can cause restlessness and disturbed sleep. And go nuts for walnuts. You could do well to snack on walnuts in the early evening. They contain their own source of melatonin. The University of Texas found, and eating them increases levels of the hormone in your blood.
16. Roll your eyes upwards. Close your eyes, inhale, and look up to your third eye, the point between your eyebrows. Then lower your eyes as you exhale and repeat 4 times. The practice is said to reduce beta brain waves, the active ones, and increase the more relaxed alpha waves, which helps us in our sleep. And number 17, much easier way, lie still. If you wake up in the night, try to move as little as possible. Your body interprets tossing and turning as a sign that it's time to wake up. Movement can also trigger adrenaline production.
18, sit by a window. Being exposed to plenty of natural light during the day can help you sleep better at night. The Journal of Clinical Sleep Medicine reported office workers who sat near a window got an average 46 minutes extra kip in the morning in the working week than those working in rooms with no windows.
Number 19, and this is what we do, take a 2 p.m. nap. Short naps can refresh you and improve concentration and alertness, but timing is everything. Between 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. we experience a small dip in core body temperature. The ideal nap time might be around 2 p.m.
And number 20, get your vitamin D. As well as vitamin D having bone-boosting benefits, research shows links a deficiency with poor sleep.
And 21, restrict your sleep. It may sound counterproductive, but going to bed later than normal and spending less time there could promote lengthier and better sleep in the long run. One study found that this method, called sleep restriction, helped people with insomnia fall asleep sooner and stay asleep for longer over a period of 8 weeks.
And finally, number 22, check your meds. Commonly prescribed pills such as alpha and beta blockers for high blood pressure, SRSIs, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors for depression, and anti-inflammatory corticosteroids can disturb sleep in some people and disturb my talk as well. 222 Ways to Trick Yourself to Sleep by Kim Jones, published by Piatkus, and we've just read 22 of them. Next, a round about
that's
the Beatles.
WRITE. McCartney's School Days essay book up for sale. Right, an exercise book of essays written by Sir Paul McCartney as a teenager is going up for auction. The Beatle, who would have been 17 or 18 years old when he wrote about novels including Thomas Hardy's The Return of the Native and John Milton's Paradise Lost. The school book also has a doodle of a mum smoking on the cover. It is from the 1959 to 1960 academic year, when Sir Paul attended the Liverpool Institute High School for Boys. The English literature essays are marked by his teacher, Alan Dusty Durband. He wrote in the margin by one, "I'd answer the question first before challenging its truth." The promising student was given marks from B- to B++ for the 5 essays which covered 22 pages. A family based in Liverpool who want to remain anonymous are putting the item up for sale. They say they have had the book for as long as they can remember. It is expected to fetch £10,000 when it goes on sale at Omega Auctions in Newton-le-Willows, Merseyside. Also up for grabs is a 1978 George Harrison cassette called The Hitler Tapes. It contains previously unheard tracks written and recorded in 1978 and is estimated to fetch £3,000. Experts said the title would have most likely been tongue-in-cheek. A rare Beatles poster bought at a garage sale in the US for $7 or £6 last year is expected to sell for £12,000. A pair of gold glasses frames, which were worn by John Lennon and given to a friend in 1967, are also on sale. Meanwhile, a rare copy of Beatles' album Yesterday and Today, once owned by Lennon and signed by him, Sir Paul and Ringo, could fetch £136,000 in a live and online May sale by auction house Julian's. The 1966 Butcher cover shows the Fab Four in white coats covered in raw meat and headless dolls. It was said to be a Vietnam War protest. Julian's is also expecting a baseball signed by the group to sell for £75,000.
Wow. £20,000 Beatles single left at charity shop. A rare 7-inch demo of the Beatles' first single, Love Me Do, worth £20,000, was left with the charity shop. It was dropped off in a bag with 25 records at the British Heart Foundation. Charity spokesman Preston Davis said, "I don't think the woman who dropped it off realised it was in the bag. We have tried to find out who she was, but we've no idea." Few of the 250 Love Me Do demos made still exist. Paul McCartney's name is misspelt on the 1962 record, which has Lennon and McCartney on the label. One was sold for £7,000, but experts say the version left with Debbie Pooch at the shop in Midhurst, West Sussex, could fetch 3 times that in an eBay auction for the charity.
Wow.
This one is entitled All You Need Is Dove. Nature-loving Macca goes bird-watching before shows. Former Beatle Sir Paul McCartney has explored his passion for nature by going bird-watching between gigs on his world tour. Sir Paul, 76, and wife Nancy Chevelle went to check 36 different species living in People's Park, Sao Paulo, Brazil this week. Oh, that was last week or last month when we finally got this. A source said it was a wonderful way to chill out. Paul, who wrote the 1968 ballad Blackbird and later named his band Wings, once said, "I've always liked birds. They're a symbolic of freedom." He said, growing up in the countryside, or near the countryside on the outskirts of Liverpool, made him a keen ornithologist. The star also superstitious about magpies. He revealed, "I love it when you see two for joy. I'm very inspired if I see a crowd of 8. And over that, he can't count. Right. We've got next a round of a catchy turn of phrase, sort of inspiration behind the most immortal lines in showbiz. When the Generation Games, Larry Grayson famously said, "Shut that door." He was actually referring to a real door. The catchphrase became synonymous with the legendary TV host in the 1970s and 1980s, but he first used it long before he became a star. He was working the summer season at a seafront theatre in Redcar, Teesside, when his act was interrupted by a door to the beach that kept flying open in the wind, and out came the now classic line. Now the door has been found during regeneration of what is currently the town's Regent's cinema and is being preserved. But the Regent's manager, Neil Bates, adds, the catchphrase originated from his manageress. When she wanted to talk to clients, she would invite them into her office and say in a rather stern voice, "Shut that door." It seems that when it comes to a catchphrase, there's a story behind those immortal words.
Bruce Forsyth, nice to see you, nice. Brucey once revealed his catchiest phrase of all had its origins in his boyhood trips to see Arsenal play. He would sit right by the players' tunnel, and one day as the players came out he shouted, "Nice to see you," and it became a regular exchange. Much later, the BBC told him he needed a catchphrase. As he was racking his brains, a make-up girl walked past and said, "Nice to see you again, Mr. Forsyth," and the memories flooded back.
Paul Daniels, you'll like this, not a lot, but you'll like it. Before he was a TV star, Paul was in one club in Bradford when he coined his catchphrase, thanks to a rowdy crowd who were hard to please. For once, a heckler proved useful because the phrase was Paul's spontaneous put down to the troublemaker, and it stuck.
Dad's Army, don't panic. Writers Jimmy Perry and David Croft loosely based this catchphrase of Corporal Jones on an elderly Lance Corporal Perry who had served alongside in the Home Guard. When Jones told everyone not to panic, it was usually the case that he was the only one panicking, he said, recalling the gent.
Homer Simpson, go! Proof that genius breeds genius and no idea is ever new. In the script originally just written as an annoying grunt, the noise "doh" was inspired by Jimmy Finlayson, who played the comic foil in 33 Laurel and Hardy movies, but was shortened from his "doh" because creator Matt Groening thought it suited Homer's lazy character more.
And Del Boy, Lovely Jubbly. The much-loved sitcom writer John Sullivan came up with Lovely Jubbly for his most famous character, Del Boy, when he saw the slogan for an orange juice drink in the 1960s, which is completely separate from everything else in the 1960s. Sullivan later pictured Del Trotter using it. Del was never short of a catchy quip, but Lovely Jubbly even entered the Oxford English Dictionary in 2003.
Catherine Tate's Lauren Cooper, am I bothered? Catherine admits she came up with her character's most famous catchphrase long before Lauren Cooper was born. She said it first in a live show and decided she must use it because of how her audience reacted. As people left the theatre, Tate could hear them repeating it, and she knew she was onto something. She said, "It's a blessing because you can't sit down and write a catchphrase. It's the audience that actually picks up on something." And next one, Bugs Bunny. What's up, Doc? Bugs first said these immortal words while nonchalantly chewing a carrot in a wild hare in 1940. The phrase was the writer's, but Bugs's manner was adapted from Clark Gable's performance in It Happened One Night, in which his character leans against a fence eating carrots and gives instructions with his mouth full. The scene was well known at the time, and audiences were well aware that Bugs was spoofing Clark Gable.
And Fred Flintstone, Yabba Dabba Doo! The origin of Fred's comic Yabba Dabba Doo catchphrase came from Alan Reed, who first voiced Fred from 1960 to 77, and he nicked it from his mum. He just came out with it when the script only called for Yahoo. He explained his mum used to say, "A little dabble do, ya," which she in turn got from a Brill Cream commercial.
Stu Francis. Ooh, I could crush a grape. Stu's famous crackerjack quip was surreal, and his explanation is too. He said, "I was on stage and there was a gang of women at the front, and one lady had a really infectious laugh. I just leant over and said, 'You're enjoying yourself?' And she said, 'I am, you bloody fool, I am.' I could feel the tension. I thought, what am I going to say? I ended up saying, 'I'm glad you're here. I'm so excited I could crush a grape.' I don't know where it came from."
And Victor Melrude's I Don't Believe It. One of the nation's all-time favourites didn't catch on straight away. Actor Richard Wilson first said his grumpy character Victor Melrude's catchphrase, "I don't believe it," at an award ceremony, and no one blinked. However, he recalls, then it gradually became the huge thing. I began to run out of different ways to say it, and then the writers started rationing it.
Right, and more unusual things for sale.